Yo, what it do, man? This is your boy North End Floyd, man. This is the Kickback Podcast. This is episode 159, man. And this is gonna be a dope episode because I have Miss Dr. Belinda George on the show. And I was just talking to her before the show, and I did her show, Tucked In Tuesdays, a year ago to the day, and we're gonna talk about that. But man, it's an honor having you on. A lot of people have been sharing this, and they've been very uh, positive about having you on the show. So this is gonna be a great show, and we're gonna have a great conversation. So how you doing today, Miss Belinda George?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Floyd. It's an honor to be on the Kickback podcast. It's an
Yeah,
honor.
like I said, when I posted you on there, it was a lot of people coming like saying how positive you was, uplifting, and all these good things and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, I know you're a very popular person, but I was thinking like, okay, shoot, I guess I'm not the only one who understands how dope she is and stuff. So I was like, okay, it's just a mutual understanding that we have here.
Thank you.
How,
That
how did
means
it
a lot.
how did that make you feel? Like knowing that you affect a lot of people in positive ways like that.
You, you know, it wasn't until I went through cognitive processing therapy that I realized I was able to say, this is okay. I deserve this. I didn't feel that way. And a
Mm,
lot of people say, how did it feel when you went viral? It felt just like it felt to you. It was surreal. It was like
mm,
me watching it happen to somebody else. I wasn't loving myself enough then to even be able to embrace it. So now when I look back, it's like, God, I wish I would have really walked into that moment, but
mm.
I didn't even. You know how when your things are going so well, you're afraid to believe that
Yep.
this is going. So that's what happened. That's what exactly what happened.
Yeah, because remember we had a conversation and I told you, I said, man, I ain't nobody. I'm just a guy with a podcast. You say, no, don't say that. You is somebody. But that's how it is because you kind of want to downplay it because it feels so surreal and stuff, and you don't want to have like a ego for it. So you kind of downplay it, and that's kind of what I do. I kind of like, to be honest with you, I downplay it because I don't want to show or have like an ego, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and doing that. So I think that's just like my little mechanism to downplay it, so it just won't seem as big as it is or whatever. So
But I will tell you this. Thank you for those hearts, Jasmine. I will tell you this, Floyd. I won't downplay it anymore. That's my blessing. That's your blessings.
mhm.
Nobody earned that but you. So you walk in it. That's not considered bragging. It's what God did. And
Mhm.
somebody's got to tell his story. So you
Yeah,
have
and
to.
not to cut you off, and to be honest with you, like this is kind of, I don't know if this is weird to say, but like I'm being 100% honest when I say this, but talking to you is like, like I need somebody like you to, tell me stuff like this because I mean, I respect your opinion, and I don't have a lot of people to really kind of tell me stuff like that, like how you be telling me. So to have you around is very important for me. For because what you say I listen to, and you give me a lot of good information, and I take heed to it. So like I said, when I told you, I was like, if you see me, or if you get a couple text messages and I'm bothering you, let me know, because I feel that you're very important. I need people like you around to give me this information, because there's a lot of things that I do not know. You know what I'm saying? And so, I need to know, and you're one of the people that I need to ask so I can know.
Oh well, Floyd, I don't mind. I think I know it's not that I know everybody has potential. It's hard for me to see the bad in a person. If I tell you somebody is bad, you
Hmm.
better believe it. Solid 100. They don't even have to do anything. If I tell you, if I feel it in my little spirit of discernment, it's actually the absolute truth. So I try to see the good in everybody. I don't care how bad they try to be. I'm going to see the good in you, and I'm going to pull that out of you. Not that I see you being bad, but I'm just saying general. I see the good in everybody. And I see Jasmine says, I remember seeing your TV, you touch my heart just to take time out your day to read to our scholars.
Hmm.
I still do it, even though it was hard to not do it when I left. I was kind of bitter, and I'm sure we'll get to that. I was a little bitter, when I left BISD, but the kids deserve to have somebody that loves them. And Sag and Sweets, if you haven't had those cookies, Floyd, I'm just saying.
I ain't had the
Oh,
cookies yet. I'm gonna have to see what the cookies about.
oh, Yeah, you do.
I
You
got
do.
it because you know what? I just got some cookies from HEB or whatever, the ones that you bake,
Oh
the
no.
Pillsbury or whatever.
No, no, no. No, 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 no.
So
No, no, no. You got to get her cookie. The
yeah, okay. I
closest
got
you're
it.
gonna get to being a crackhead is eating her cookies.
All right. Yeah, because like them HEB cookies, they be decent for, well, I'm saying HEB, but Pillsbury, Doughboy or whatever. Those I mean they
Yeah.
all right, but okay,
And
Miss
I
Amy. Amy said you could be confident without ego. One of her mentors told me that I was too humble. Yeah, that's the thing because you don't want to it's a fine line, and you don't want to be too cocky. So you just you kind of downplay it a little bit. So I mean,
yes.
I guess it's something that I gotta learn. So.
Yep. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna pull you out of that. No, sir.
Okay, so hey, for the people who don't know, if they, hey, so a lot of people that's that follows the page that's not from this area. So why don't you tell the people where are you from and who are you?
So I am Dr. Belinda George. Those who know me, they call me Bird. That's my nickname. And if you ever
Bird.
saw me in shorts, you definitely know why. If you ever saw me in a pair of shorts during the summer, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely Bird. And
Yeah.
so I'm actually from Chauvin, Louisiana. I made it my way here, Beaumont, via my husband, right?
Hmm.
But from Chauvin, Louisiana, way down in the boot, my accent may come out a little bit. Well, Duck Dynasty, those guys,
Yeah.
we shopped in the same places. So just to give you a little insight.
Sound like a little small town.
Very, very small. We don't even have a red light. We have a flashing red light by the Piggly
Oh.
Wiggly.
Oh yeah, everybody know everybody out there.
Yes, basically, yes.
So via husband, you came down here to Beaumont and stuff like that. So what was your
Came
first
down to
opinion?
Beaumont. I actually had flunked out of school for it
College?
and college, Nicholls
Hmm.
State University. My mom said, when you go again, it'll be because you paid. And I was like, I don't have any money. So I joined the Army, right? Got the
Yeah.
MGI Bill. And because I was determined, I wanted to be like the people in the J.C. Penney catalog. Some of y'all too young to know that, but that was dreams. That was goals, the J.C. Penney catalog. That was
Hmm.
goals.
Okay.
And so I wanted that lifestyle where I can actually shop and not just cut out pictures and glue them on a poster and say, this is my dream
Yeah.
house. And so
Yeah.
went to the military, got the MGI Bill. Melvin encouraged me to go, went to school, um, got my bachelor's, my master's, my EDD, not because I had to, but it was something I wanted to do. It was a goal for me.
Hmm. So when you came to Beaumont, how what was your first opinion of Beaumont? What did you think about it?
You want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
This is one of the most racist places I've ever been in my life from both
we
sides.
we get that a lot too from
From
people from
from
the
from
outside.
both sides. I remember having a party at my house and someone made the comment, "Why are these white people here?" And I thought, I've never been to a party and it's not been mixed. And so then I went to a white party and I was the only black person there. And I was like,
Mm,
oh my, and we don't talk about racism here. That's why it continues to just stew. We don't talk about it. It's just
yeah.
taboo. We just stay our distance. But that's a conversation that needs to be had in a respectful manner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you hear that from people from the outside, when they from the outside looking, when they come in, they say how, segregated like this area is and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, uh, when I moved to Killeen after high school and I was just seeing how the racists was mingling with each other and, the interracial couples was just everywhere. And I was like, this is so different from Beaumont. This was like in '98. And so I was like, damn, I was like, whew, it was like a breath of fresh air because, I was just seeing all this and I wasn't used to seeing it in Beaumont because you got the towns outside of Beaumont that, like people really don't go to be honest with you and stuff like that. And you didn't have that in these type of cities. I mean, in Killeen, when I was out there, and I was like, oh, this is kind of dope out here. So yeah, from the outside, when people come in to Beaumont, you do have that perspective. But
Yeah.
Jazz want to know, do you have a channel that you read to kids?
Yes, it's on YouTube. If you're not on Facebook it's Tucked in Tuesdays. On YouTube, it's Tucked in Tuesdays as well. And I go live there. So they can watch from
Yeah.
YouTube or Facebook and they can interact. If you
Hmm.
let them put in the chat, I do answer their questions and put their comments up.
Yeah. So let's get to it. How did you develop a passion for the community? How did that transpire?
Actually, I had none. And yeah, I heard you say Colleen. I was in Fort Hood at the same time,
Yeah,
and
we
I was
talked about
stationed in
that.
Fort
Yeah.
Hood.
Hmm.
Um, I um, I didn't do a lot in the community. I was kind of like, stay back, leave me alone, let me go home to school. And education is really all you have time for. And when I left education, I saw the need. Like I knew what happened in my school, and I knew that was a school problem. It had to be a community problem, right? So visibility was key for me. Going out teaching the kids that everything good that comes from you doesn't always require a paycheck. It has to come from the heart.
True.
So a lot of the volunteering, I feel so good when I help people. I think I'm more happy than the person I'm helping. And so that's what made me start getting in the community to start showing kids and modeling, being a good role model. I was a good role model, but I was a secret role model, closet role
Hmm.
model, if
Definitely.
that makes sense. So I wanted to get out, and actually that helps me self-reflect and check myself, because if I'm out in the community, I'm not gonna make bad choices. I'm not. And so that helped me to become a better person as well, communicating and being out in the community, in every arena of the community.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying when you said as far as being like a closet, you know what I'm saying, person that want to help the community. Because I think a lot of people are like that, and they just don't have the information, and they don't have they don't know the people where they can kind of get out and be in the forefront if they choose to do that to help the community. Because
Unknown caller.
it's like spam caller, but it's just the lack of information that we have to help people. So we kind of just sit in the back and we kind of do what we can. But yeah, hey, shout out to Amy. Amy said she was in Fort Hood too. I noticed that you said it was one thing that you said as far as leadership. You said leadership is a gift. Can you explain that? What did you mean by leadership is a gift? Because I was like, oh, that's kind of dope right there.
Because a lot of people, a word that I can't stand that makes me cringe is when somebody calls himself a boss. A boss is
That's funny.
somebody that tells people what to do and how to do it and doesn't do it with them, right? They
Mhm.
just expect you to do it. Leadership is a gift because it's a gift of learning how to lead people. Once you know people, that is a gift in itself, because I won't lead people unless I absolutely know who they are in and out, right?
Mhm.
And if I started working with you, Floyd, you'd be like, I don't like her. But if I got to know you, I know how to adjust to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work between the two of us, right? So personality tests are crucial. But leadership is definitely a gift. And it's not just because you're a CEO or a CFO or whatever, it doesn't mean that you're a good boss. So
Mhm.
being a good leader, you're always learning forever. So yes, leadership is a gift.
Yeah, I think you gotta understand the people who you're leading to be a leader. Because I mean, you see it happen all the time in the workforce. Some of these people get promoted in some of these positions, and they really are not a great supervisor or a leader or a boss, or however you want to say it, because they don't understand, like, as far as the personalities and what you have to do to lead people and stuff. So I thought that's kind of dope. I did, hey, I was doing some research up on you, so
I see. Pulling my quotes.
yeah, for sure. Now let's talk about the tucked in Tuesdays. Now, how
So
did tucked in Tuesdays come about? Because I did it, and I thought that was when I did it, I thought, like, why haven't so many other people really kind of just reached out to annoy you to do something like that? Because I thought that was a great thing to do.
yeah, Tucked in Tuesdays was I was in this Facebook group called Principals, Principal Leadership by Stephanie McConnell. And so there was a principal in Georgia that was like, I read to my kids, once a week. And I was like, man, that's cool. But I was at home and I was like, my kids can barely get to school as is. So having them to come once a week for me to read. So I was just like, I'm gonna try it on my computer. And I went, it was during the Christmas holidays. I'll never forget. I read by Michael Hall, and I set it from my Christmas tree. And the next day a kid was like, I saw you reading on the Facebook page. And I was like, really? And so it kind of caught on. And what is for you, Floyd. So No matter how much people try to hate, we were talking about this earlier. What's
Mm-hmm.
for you is for you. And so even though it was a borrowed idea, the only thing differently that I did was did it every Tuesday, gave it a name, and went Facebook Live. And that's all she wrote. They came and did a story, and that was it.
Did the Tucked In Tuesday lead you to meeting Steve Harvey? How
Yes.
did okay.
So that was in 2019. Did the idea. I remember a lady come into the news, and she came to do a story, and she goes, "Your life's about to change forever." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "When we do this story, we're going to upload it to our sister stations, and it's going to go right." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." I've been on the news for little small things. Okay, didn't even think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up the next morning because I did the Homer Drive Facebook page, and there was this lady from Oklahoma. And she was like, "I just saw you on the news. What you're doing is wonderful." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so I get to work, and I'm telling my secretary about what happened. I thought that was just awesome that somebody in Oklahoma heard about me. And she was like, the attendance clerk ran in, and she was like, "NBC Universal Studios was on the news." And I was like, "No, they're not." And she was like, "Yes, they are. It's Steve Harvey's show." And I was like, "No, it's not." She said, "I'm going to transfer you." And so I saw the phone, and I was screaming, right? And she was like, "Answer it, answer it." And so I was like, "I don't know what to say." And so when I answered it, it was just to be on just where they do a little clip at the end. He would do highlight a clip he saw.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, it was, "Will you be on the show?" But it was supposed to be just a clip, but it was a whirlwind, very fast, um,
Mm-hmm.
very fast
Did you? So you had
whirlwind.
to. So when you went up there, you was in front of the live studio audience and all that.
So they flew me over, and so we went over that morning, and they taped all day. I remember hearing Robin Thicke next to me harmonizing in the room right over.
Really?
And so, yes, like harmonize, and then ask people, "Do I sound good?" I wanted to say, "What? You are the Robin Thicke," but even they have insecurities, right?
For sure, for
And
sure.
so there were 4 tapings that day. So that audience that you saw me with, they were probably in 4 different shows. So he
Oh,
pieces
okay.
them together. And so I didn't go on the stage to meet Steve Harvey. We had to be there at 1. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't meet Steve Harvey until maybe 7 o'clock that night. I was
Really?
there for 6 hours in the green room.
Dang. I didn't know they have y'all in there waiting that long like that.
Yes, producers come out and talk to you. They check with you. They're like, "Hey, tell me your story." And they were like, "Can you say it like this?" And I said, "Look, this is my story. I can't make it up. This is." And she said, "Just do it, but you have to say these parts." I had to send pictures of what I would wear. I remember wanting to wear this red ruffle romper. And
Uh-huh.
because my arms were showing, they said that would make me not look very I guess demure is the word now,
Yeah.
but my arms needed to be hidden for people to take me seriously.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to have my dress approved. But yes, it was through Tucked In Tuesdays that I met Steve Harvey.
Okay, that's dope. I mean, they flew you first class. How Steve
They,
Harvey do it?
they didn't fly us first class, but they did fly Melvin and I, both of us. They paid for both of us to fly over
Okay.
because I said he's like a package deal.
Yeah.
And so they flew us
that's
over.
that's real.
Disney paid for my room. When I got there, I said right across. Wait, no, Disney paid for me on Strahan and Sarah. Steve Harvey, they paid for my show. They paid for
Mhm.
me to go, and so they paid for my hotel, my meals while I was there. They picked me up from the airport, brought me back to the airport. So we stayed in the vicinity. We stayed near Universal Studios,
Okay.
like walking distance. Yeah.
Okay. So other than Tucked In Tuesdays, you're also a financial counselor.
Financial counselor. So I worked at a local credit union, and I got my certification for financial counselor. Now I will tell you, I'm like somebody that does hair. A beautician's hair is never combed. Construction worker's house is never done. That's me with finances. I am
Okay.
not the best at it, but I know exactly what to do. But I do help people when they call and they say they have issues with spending or something like that. I do refer to what I know, even though I don't practice it all the time. I'm getting much better. But yes, my big thing is teaching people about 50, 30, 20. And I tell everybody, like people say I'm broke. No, nobody's broke. Honestly, nobody's broke. And I will say this, and I don't know if I told you this, Floyd, but you might want to write this down. It's called 50, 30, 20.
Yeah, I
50%
was
of
just
your
thinking about
money,
this.
every bit of money that comes into your house, you take 50% of it and it goes towards your needs. Needs are basic, like food, shelter, water, um, your medical needs, your needs, 50% of your money. If 50%, if it's over 50%, then you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm,
50%. 30% is your money to splurge every month. 30% of your money.
mm-hmm,
20% is for savings. If everybody followed that, you would never be broke. You would always have 30% of your money to just blow.
mm-hmm.
And 50, but you have to you won't do that in the beginning, but eventually your bills will become 50%. And that's when you know you've arrived. But your bills should only be 50% of your check, your money.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna have to clip. I'm gonna have to make this a clip right here and post this for all the people out there that's splurging, trying to keep up with the Joneses and realize that's not the thing. I need to start saving better. So hey, 50, 30, 20.
50, 30, 20. I also developed a formula with Excel, and Excel. Not good at math, but I can give you he's laughing. He said, Terry said, Belinda can't get rid of that Louisiana twang. I can't. I told you it would eventually
Twang.
come out. When I get comfortable, it comes out. So that means Floyd is good people. If you hear it, Floyd is good people. If I'm letting it seep out, that's a level of comfort. But the 50, 30, 20, I developed it. And so I would put my needs, I would categorize my bills by wants, needs,
Mm-hmm.
and savings. And the first time I did it, I was like 80%. Not my husband's included, just mine. When
Mm.
I tell you I was humbled, and guess what? I couldn't, if most of it went on somebody else. I was spending my money on other people.
Yeah.
I was putting money in other people's home. And so when I started seeing
Mm.
that, I was like, I have nothing to splurge. There's nothing to splurge, right? And
Right.
there's nothing really to save. So what you're supposed to save, you're using that. So just a little FYI.
Especially it's
I
the
do,
holidays too. I mean, y'all, it's
yeah.
Christmas time, so hey, I know y'all
I
want to
do
get
have
some
another
gifts.
one I'm going to tell you. I have it on here. I pulled out my notes. This
Yeah.
is 4 types of spenders. 4 types.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, let me find it because I love telling this one. Spending cycles. The first one, there's people that earn, spend, earn, spend. Literally, they
Mm-hmm.
earn money, they spend it, they
Yep.
earn some more, and they spend that too. The second group is
Mm-hmm.
earn, spend, borrow, spend. They earn their money, spend it, borrow it, and then spend the money they borrow. Then there's 3, they earn, spend, save. So they earn their money, they spend their money, but they do save. And then the fourth one is earn, save, spend. They earn their money, they save their money, and then they spend whatever they have left. So that's the true 50, 30, 20 cycle 4.
Ah.
But
Okay.
most people are in that earn, spend, living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep. Earn, spend. Then you earn some extra. Then you spend extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have those that earn, spend, borrow, spend.
That's the worst type
Yeah.
right there. They never pay you back. There's people out there that be borrowing. Hey man, let me borrow $20. They don't pay you back. Let me borrow 30. They don't pay you back, and it just before you
When I
know
was growing
you
up, I remember a man in the neighborhood, my mom asked him for his money, had borrowed some money. He said, Buell, as long as I owe you, you'll never be broke. I'll never forget that.
no, you're gonna be broke trying to get it back from. Hey man, I'm broke right now. Like what the hell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking about something. Uh, you're always dancing, and you have your husband in the videos, and he just be chilling. Uh, you always have this type of relationship like that, or it end up developing into something
It
like this.
it developed with people. I am 48, Melvin is 76. So there's
Mm-hmm.
an age gap, right?
Yep.
And so I came from Louisiana. We party for everything. We're not even gonna have a funeral if it don't turn into it's lit afternoon.
Yeah, I
If
do. Y'all
everything
do.
ends in a party.
Uh-huh.
And so I got here. My husband's more reserved, but in my house, it's like I can be whoever I want in my house. So you notice his voice is hardly ever on there because when I tell you this man is saying some ungodly things and I'm just screaming, laughing, right? Because he doesn't want to do it. But
Yeah.
our marriage, I always tell people, I remember I'm his third wife. And so with his thing, he would do the silent treatment, right? Not talk.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
stand that. I came from a home where my dad would drink and he would become abusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So communication was like huge for me. I was like, when I grow up, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk.
For
And
sure.
so we have this little blue dry erase board on the board, and he wasn't talking. So I said, well, write what you want on the board. So he would write on the board, right? And I'd be like, what is wrong with him? Well, how do we live in a house like this? So I remember the last day he wrote on the board, he wrote F you, right? And I
Mhm.
laughed and he laughed because I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
just say it. You're
Uh-huh.
just being petty. And so another thing that we did is I don't like arguing, because arguing to me means
Mm.
that it's going to be physical in my head. It's going to get physical. And
Mhm.
so I don't like to argue with anybody for anything.
Yeah.
And so I
Oh,
call
no.
it going to the rug. So we sit in the living room and we
Hmm.
sit, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to resolve it. You could talk about mama, daddy, kids, sister, brothers at the rug. You're going to get it all out. But when we leave off the rug, you don't hash it up again. You don't ask, why did you say that? We're done. 27 years of marriage. We've been on the rug twice because the rug is brutal.
Y'all,
So we've learned to communicate so we don't get to the rug.
the dope thing is that y'all both respect the rug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's the dope thing about it, that y'all both respect the rug. When y'all go to the rug, it's an understanding that, look, we finna work out whatever it is, and when we get up, everything is gonna be handled. I think that's
You
pretty
know that
cool, right there.
TikTok trend right now. We listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, we listen and we don't
Yeah,
judge.
we were doing that before. That we didn't even know that was a thing, but we were doing
Yeah.
that, and we were like, once you left the carpet, it was not like you could go back and be like, so you really think that?
Mhm.
No, if you didn't say it on the rug, it's done. And so we went the first time, he wouldn't talk, and I was like, you better get a diaper because we're not leaving off the rug. And so 2 times of the rug. So we work really hard to communicate so that we don't go to the rug, because the rug really is pulling the scab off of everything, every aspect of life. So we haven't been to the rug since maybe 2012.
Ooh, okay. That's a good thing.
Yep.
But it's there. But y'all, it's there to
The rug is there. Yes.
it's there to keep you like, look, it's right there just in case.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, so I went and visit you one time, and you was telling me some important information about the things that the community is lacking, and percentages and stats and stuff. And I want to talk about that too. And so,
Yes.
can you tell the people what we was talking about as far as stats,
So
and maybe they can look them up and see what you know?
yes, if I could share, I'm going to share a window. If
I,
is it up there?
hold on, let me see. It's gonna let me
Okay.
share, right?
All
Yeah.
right. So yes, so that's United for Alice. So United for Alice, it stands for, Alice is an acronym, and it stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And so those are people that live above federal poverty, but
Hmm.
don't make enough to give government assistance. So you have this, and this is through United Way. And so if you're doing any kind of nonprofits, any kind of community work, you can go into Alice and you can pick things like down to Jefferson County, right? I know all of Jefferson County stats.
Hmm.
And so you can go and look at how many people are under poverty by the population, ethnicity, age group, whether they're single, married, homes. It tells you the average of what it takes to live. And this is just based off of that 50%. Remember, I told you 50, 30, 20?
Yep.
It's that 50%. These people are just trying, they don't have the money to save, and they don't have that. So these are those people that really rely on that 50%. They don't have anything else. And so you can go into here and look up partner states, like in the state of Texas. I'm looking at the screen behind me. So in the state of Texas, if I clicked on Texas, and it'll generate the state of Texas, I can look at counties. This is 2024, it's 2 years behind. And so the state of Texas, this is their overview. If we go to counties, I can go in and look at any county there is. And so because we live in Jefferson County, I'm going to go ahead and put Jefferson County. Let me get Jefferson County right there. So Jefferson County is here. And so Jefferson County, I can go and look. Here's the point in time data. It tells you the population. It tells you if it's decreasing, if it's increasing. You see some decreases around here, and then it goes back up. It tells you financial hardships is not equally distributed. This is by ethnicity. So when you look at the dark blue, that's in poverty. The lighter blue is Alice. That's the group I told you about. And the yellow is above Alice.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, the first column is Asian, the second column is Black, the third column is Hispanic, the fourth column is American Indian, this column is white, and then this is two or more races. And as we talk, Floyd, the Black population in every area made the least amount of money. They live below poverty, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
live below Alice. And so when I look at household types, single female headed homes, 80% of that, and BIC and Jefferson County. 80%, 60 with the male, single male headed. People don't think that males. I was a principal. I don't know how many single dads came in with their kids because of deaths of the mom, or the mom didn't want the kids. It's not only dads. It's not only deadbeat dads. I'm just here to tell you, and this data tells you a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
They have married, which is only 24%, and then single or cohabiting is 50%. And then the cost of wages. If you look at this, most people don't even make this much. But this is what it says. It should, based on this data for Jefferson County, this is what you should be able to afford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Housing rent, $619 for a single adult. We all know that nobody in Beaumont can get unless you're living in one of those luxury apartments that you put on your page, Floyd. You're not going to get that for $619. And it tells you by family, right?
Yeah.
And then here's the labor landscape. It tells you like full-time salary, part-time salary. It tells all of you that. And then you can actually look at small parts like Nome, and you can look at little places that make up Jefferson County to look at that. Jefferson County with Beaumont, LaBelle, Nome, Port Arthur, Sabine Pass. You can look at it below Alice threshold. Beaumont, 51%, the highest. Port Arthur followed by 47%. And so then there's more, but you can dig into it a lot and look at the data. And I don't make any decisions unless I have numbers for it. And so this should tell a lot of people, you can't go to Beaumont and put a restaurant here and expect it to thrive. That's why we have so many that come and they go. You have to look at it. You have to look at it. Terry said he was astonished when he saw Alice states for Jefferson County. Yeah, the stats for Jefferson County is unbelievable. And African-American single moms, that is the hardest hit area. So hard. And when you look at that statistics, when you start looking at it and you look at, these are single moms, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, just being a single parent is a lot without no help. It's hard. And, I like you said, as far as with men, like the single dads out there, I mean, a lot of dads not going to admit that, but it is hard out there. I mean, it's a hard job, taking care of your kids and doing all these things and stuff. So, yeah. Let me ask you a question. And you said, I thought that was a great point when you said something. I mean, as far as starting a restaurant out here, and when you look at the stats and stuff like that, that's why some restaurants don't last that long. What do you think that this area is lacking?
Oh, goodness. True roundtables, true roundtables. The discussion. You can't put lipstick on a pig and think that it's still a pig. And I think Beaumont goes around putting a lot of lipstick on pigs around here and just go about their day. You have to have the hard conversations. And I'm going to be honest. That's one reason I'm not in the two positions I was in prior to being on my own, because people are not willing to have uncomfortable conversations. But you're not going to get anywhere in life being comfortable. Nowhere. And if you are comfortable in a pair of jeans, Floyd, you're going to wear them out. They eventually going to get a hole in the seat, And it's the same way with people in Beaumont not wanting to talk about things. So I think what Beaumont is lacking is true roundtables, not just bringing people who you think will say the right thing to the table. Bring those people that can bring value to the table to come up with solutions. Solutions don't look like what the minority of Beaumont looks like. It's not. I'm just going to tell the truth. You will not have answers. You can't get a bunch of people that are above Alice to make decisions for people that are below Alice. It makes up 50%, I'm looking at the stats, 50% single. There's no way. You
Mhm.
have to bring these people to the table, and they bring value. They don't have to have degrees to bring value, but they bring value. They know what it's like to be in the trenches.
Yeah, I think when I see some of this stuff out here, and they have these meetings, these, well, if they do have roundtables and these discussions about the city, I'm thinking like, y'all don't have the right people it, having these conversations and stuff. And so when I see like, oh, they had this and that, and I'm thinking like, who the hell did y'all have at this meeting? And then I'm like, y'all had these people making the decisions. These people are so out of touch with what's going on. Like it's crazy. And I'm not gonna say this is just it's the reason why we're in a situation, because I think accountability is accountability. But I
Mhm.
think the leadership, I don't think they making the correct moves. And I think some people want to be in this leadership position because of the title that it has. And I don't think they in it for the people. I think they're just in it for themselves and to promote themselves and their agenda, what they have going on. So
I told Terry when they didn't cut our grass, and I put it on Facebook. I emailed the city council, and I'll say this until the day I die. I'm going to complain as hard as you campaign. Just as hard as you was knocking on my door, I'm going to knock on yours when something's wrong. I need people that run for office to be there all the time, whether they're running for office or not. Don't just show up around election time. That doesn't move me any. Don't come and give a few lollipops to a few kids, kiss a few foreheads, and go on about your business. You have to be present at all times. And so that's a conversation I'm willing to have with any and everybody. And even if you're not in, because let's be real, we have a school district, one school district for Beaumont.
mhm.
That needs to be addressed too. That's something people don't like
Yeah,
to talk about.
no,
But
that's
that there's some things there that need to be fixed as well. I was in education. I know the deficits. I know what they need. You can't always say things are great and good when you know better.
yep. Yeah.
You have to talk about the good and the bad.
So when you was a principal, because you did affect a lot of kids. Even my mom used to talk good
Mhm.
about you about, and that's how I met you first. Because my mom used to, talk about how the things you was doing and reading
Mhm.
and stuff. And I remember when I first seen you on Facebook reading, and I said, who's this lady? She reading books on Facebook, and she's like, oh, let me tell you. So, and I said, okay, so that's when I was kind of first introduced to you. So, I mean, how was it being a principal in BISD, if you can really say what you want to say?
My heart never went away. And I was a beast when it came to those kids. Parents, anybody. And what people don't know is I met Roy after I went viral. He had me on his radio show, right?
Hmm.
And he asked me on the radio show, he said, Belinda, how are you going to top this? How are you going to top Tuxton Tuesdays? And I said, well, I want to do popsicles with the principals, but I don't have a way to keep popsicles frozen. And
Hmm.
so Roy and a couple other constituents rented out a ice cream truck
I
for
remember.
4 years, consecutively passing out ice cream. And he came to my office one day. He had been calling. He came to my office one day and he said, I need to tell you something. I was like, what is it? And he said, I am embarrassed to say, and if he sees this, he'll tell you this is the absolute truth. He said, I'm embarrassed to say that I lived in Beaumont all these years and never knew that Maida existed or Pine Club. I thought all of
Hmm.
the apartments looked like in the West End, right? Because
Hmm.
it's not on a busy street. He thought all apartments looked like that. And he said, and I went there and those kids were living in, he called them World War II homes, right? Because the cinder
Yeah.
blocks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said, and that's not right. And he said, I want to run for mayor and I want you to be my treasurer and I want you to have time and think about it. And because I knew the time and investment he had put in the kids and how, and all he would be to come to the school and be like, these kids are great kids. They are. They're great kids. They're smart kids and they know how to act. And I was changing the way people perceive the kids that came from Maida and Pine Club and even the parents.
Hmm.
And so that inspired Roy to run for mayor. And then politics, they happen, but I know the heart, the people saw that at Homer
Hmm.
Drive, and even the parents saw that. You're not going to come here and look any kind of way. No, you're not going to do it. And so I was very verbal and very I was an advocate for for those kids. I wanted them to be treated just like the kids at Regina Hall and Sally Curtis, the same respect, the same
Yeah,
thing.
I seen y'all. Y'all was out there in Plymouth Village too, I think. I say, man,
Yep.
look at this white dude out there in PV giving out ice cream and stuff.
And he would he would be, and sometimes we didn't even have ice cream. Sometimes he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I said, Actually, I'm going after school. I have to go and check on some kids in Plymouth Village. I made her," and he said, "I'll meet you there." And he would meet me there because he wanted to watch me interact with the kids. He just thought that was so funny that when we delivered ice cream one time, one kid came over. I said, "Where are your shoes?" And he was like, "They're at home." And I said, "You're not getting ice cream without the shoes." So he stormed off. And I said, "Bring the shoes back and come back." So he brought the shoes back and he got to the front of the truck. And the kids at Homer knew you don't pick when somebody's giving you something free. You get what they give you and you say thank you. Then you trade with somebody else that got it free. But you don't stand up here and order with no money. You give what they give you. So he was mad because, and I said, "No, you're going to take it and you're going to say thank you. You're going to like it. Do you understand?" And he was like, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "You're going to eat it and you're going to smile because they didn't have to give you anything. You didn't choose." I said, "And go tell your mama come here because you shouldn't be out here with shoes." And he went, got his mama. I know. But that's the way I was with the parents, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
No, you're not going to be out here barefoot. No. And so, like, the police would come to the school and pass out things, and the kid, like, can I have the red one? And she took the red one. I said, "No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The color you gave him, that's what he gets. It's free. You don't get to pick when it's free." And I wanted those kids to understand that when you go into the world and you're at a disadvantage, you don't have an advantage to pick and make decisions. So that's why you want to be better. That's why you ought to be better.
Now, as far as parents, I hear from the teachers. Is it a struggle to get parents to come to the schools and to see about their kids? Because I've been to a few. Well, my daughter, they have the parent teacher thing, and they have like the I guess parent teacher conferences and stuff like that at the school she go to, and sometimes it looks like it could be more people in there. Is it that hard getting the parents to come to some of these events that these teachers try to have for them?
The data. If I know that my school is predominantly single women, do I expect them to be able to come to school in the evening?
Not really. If they working and they doing all that, just it's gonna be
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And if they have their kids all day and they get home with their kids and the bus brings them home and then they got to find a ride to come back. Now, granted, a lot of the parents have. If it's awards day, everybody and their mama coming to see Jimmy get a participation award because he didn't do nothing else at school but was enrolled at the school. But they're going to bring the whole family. It's priorities and teaching parents priorities. I don't think that they don't care. I just think that their priorities are different. It's just priorities and understanding that a parent that didn't graduate is not really interested in school. A parent that was bullied in school does not want to go back to elementary. And people forget that parents are human first and parents are parents second. They are. And sometimes a mom got a black eye. They can't just come up to the school because what are you going to do? CPS. A lot of the parents avoided school because of CPS because they couldn't or wouldn't send their kids because I would call and be like, "Why not at school, Dr. George? They don't have clean clothes." So you asked me to go get them washed or something, but you don't keep them home. But I think it's a lack of communication or the expectation of the Sally Curtis parent and the Martin parent can't be the same. They're not. And the North End are schools that are primarily with a high poverty rate. A bus needs to be provided on those nights to go and pick those parents up and bring them back. That's my solution. Put your money where your mouth is. And I'm pretty sure there are businesses that would sponsor a bus to do it, or a business partner that would sponsor a bus, or the city. I don't know if the city could get involved, but bus them over and bus them back. But I know they show up for goals night and things like that, but it has to be showing up for literacy night. And I don't know how to read either. I'm not going.
I think that's a great idea. I think I don't know if it's ever been suggested by the school board, but yeah, I think that is a pretty good idea as far as having a bus for parents on some of these nights. And when you think about it, I since you're a principal, I mean, that does make sense. Like you can't treat the same kids and parents the same from one school to the next because you said, like poverty and the stats. So I think that is very important. Now, I noticed I read that you took the school that you was a principal at from a F rated to a C rated. How much
Yes,
hard work did that take and commitment did that take to make that happen?
a lot, and it wasn't acknowledged. It was actually the year I was told that I wasn't doing a good job and I was
Mm,
being moved. And that's one reason I resigned, because I knew the blood, sweat, and tears that we had put in the data. And so we would look at data, right? And if a kid showed growth, if they had, like the previous year, they had 2 right on the STAR test. If they did a practice and had 4, I was calling that kid in and celebrating like nobody's business. Like, you got 2 more right than last year. And they're like, I passed. No, baby, no, you did. You didn't pass. But because some of them don't have to pass, they just have to show growth, right?
okay.
And I think, Floyd, I will say this here. One thing that grinds my gears is churches and businesses that do things for kids with A and A B honor roll.
Hmm.
Everybody can't make A's and B's. So little Jimmy that's struggling with a D and went from an F to a D and he busted his tail and doesn't get anything, he ain't never doing it again. Pardon my incorrect grammar, but he ain't never doing it again.
I
And
mean,
so we have to look at that growth, and so we looked at the data. We called home when they weren't home. I did a lot of like, you can do it, I believe in you, explaining to the kids what domains are. And I don't think a lot of parents understand there's 3 domains, Floyd. So your little girl, what grade is she in now?
she's in a third.
Okay, so she's taking the STAR test, right?
Hmm.
Do you know in domain 3, your daughter will be counted because she's Black? um so they have Black, economically disadvantaged, they have all ethnicities. If you've ever been in special ed, if you're currently enrolled in BISD, if you've left and come back, they can do 3 or 4, they can count on the test 3 or 4 times. Your one little girl can affect domain 3 multiple times. And so I explained that to the kids, right? I explained that to the kids, like, because you're these 3 things, you're going to count 3 times. And they were devastated. They was like, I'm carrying all that weight.
Yeah.
Yes. But I explained domain 1, 2, and 3, like a kid that makes if your daughter makes a perfect score on the STAR test,
Hmm.
and domain 2, where it looks for growth, she's not going to get it. Actually, she won't show any growth. So her doing a perfect score won't help. I
Mm.
mean, it'll help her in domain 1, but it
Yeah.
won't help with growth in domain 2. And I think if parents understood that and kids understood that, I think that would Ned, I'm trying to think of his name. Ned, he's on Facebook and I know his name is Ned, but his son was there and I explained the writing test to his son, to him. And he didn't understand how the STAR test worked. But no, it's not just it takes a lot of, and kids are smarter than people can
Hmm.
ever imagine. They understood those domains and they knew that they were going to count multiple times and they knew how many they needed to pass
Hmm.
to get passing or to show growth, and they were excited about it.
Yeah. Terry said you was fighting a flawed system.
Very flawed. um um it Education is very flawed, and right now with them getting rid of the Department of Education, I need people to understand that the Department of Education affects special ed kids. So if there's a kid with special needs, you can forget about it.
Hmm.
All that funding and stuff and all that you have, every parent needs to take their kids IEP if they're in special ed, write it down, take a picture of it, because when it goes away, they're going to have to fight for that the best way they know how.
Mm. If
But
they willing to fight
education
too.
is not set up. I don't think education is set up to make people there's no problem solving,
Yeah.
right? And so it's more of STAR is trying to problem solve, but I'll never forget my nephew. My dissertation was on virtual education back in 2015, before it was even a thing,
Mhm.
because this boy went and took his STAR test and came home and I said, so how did it go? He said, T-Bird, the first story is about these 2 brothers, the Eminem brothers, and told me everything. And I said, what about the next one? Oh, about some old white man named Abraham Lincoln. He said, I just
I'm
put
a white man.
anything.
Uh,
because it was a disconnect. And so
yeah.
my whole
Okay.
dissertation was on virtual education, of bringing education to kids. Floyd, do you know you can go to any Smithsonian museum from the comfort of your home and any zoo? If your daughter, if you never go to Chicago, you
Hmm.
can put the Chicago and your. I remember going in and this teacher asked these kids, how many of you have been to the zoo? And like 3 raised their hands. And she was like, that's it? And I was like, wait, because I was that kid when I was little, right?
Hmm.
So I pulled up the zoo and she had some behavioral issues. And I said, now this lion is sleeping. If y'all make any noise, he'll wake up. And luckily, they made some noise and he took a deep breath and they were like, she was like, that was the best day ever.
Hmm.
But bringing the education to the kids, it's absolutely free. And I think that we need to do more of that, of bringing kids in, bringing experiences to kids. That
Yeah.
needs to happen more often than not. That's how they learn. But they're not interested in things they've never seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of parents that ain't never went to the zoo too. So, um, I remember the first time I went to the zoo. I was an adult, to be honest with you, and I thought it was kind of cool.
Mhm.
So I just to see the animals and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. But like you
And,
said, I mean, nowadays you can just type in Chicago Zoo, and then you can see, you know. So it's a little
and
bit different.
I wanted to tell you that also parents with SNAP can get into the zoos for free. If they get food stamps,
Oh,
they just bring their award letter and they go to the zoo for free.
really? I didn't know Houston Zoo.
Any zoo.
Okay,
Yep. There are lots. That's Miss Mary.
Miss
Yes,
Mary.
each
Yes.
state, she said each state can run their own Department of Education. Yes, but the person that's running each state that handles education has to have people in it that are smart and responsible. And in the state of Texas, if you look in the people that help write the STAR test or people that speak, half of them are not even in education, have never been in education. The lady who President-elect Trump is putting over Department of Education was over WWE. And one time she was in education, fell miserably. So that tells you the value of education. People can say they value it all day, but there are things, the state running their own Department of Education, that's in the state of Texas, it's already bad. And the
Yeah.
state, the department, the feds make them do certain things. When they take that, oh yeah. Unless you have a special needs kid, it doesn't bother you, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't. You don't understand until you have a kid like that or you have to teach one. You don't understand. So your fight for them is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered. I mean, to revert back to Tuck In Tuesdays. Have you ever thought about writing your own books? Is a book coming soon from you?
There's a book written, there's several books for writing a notebook.
Mhm.
Remember I told you it was surreal. And
Mhm.
so I felt like if I wrote a book, then I'd be making money off the kids. So I didn't do it. But the book is written as a children's book, and I have an adult book. And the adult book is things that you say, but here's the professional way of saying it, right?
Mhm.
And so I have some things that I have, and I want to correlate that. This is what you want to say, but this is how you should say it. It's going to be comical and definitely for grown folks. Kids not going to be able to read that book.
Yeah, for sure. Probably educational because a lot of people don't know how to speak in certain situations and
Well, this is a grown show.
in
So
certain
the
rooms
first
too.
one, the first one on my book is I'd rather shave my booty hole with a rusty razor than sit here and talk to you. You can't tell that to your boss.
Nah, nah, you can't say
So
that at all.
it'll be that, and then this is what you should say, right? So it'll be a
Yeah.
little comical, right? It's
Okay.
like you're right. So it'll teach you to communicate. It's in my eyes, teach you to communicate, even though in your head you're really saying, I'd rather shave my booty hole with a rusty razor than sit here and talk to you,
Mhm.
but you're gonna say something professional. So I have that book
Mhm.
that's gonna come out as well.
Okay, and so what about you starting your own charity? Because well, hold on before we what about you starting your own charity? Because you're connected to a lot of different organizations and stuff. So
So I guess with charities, I am with a lot of thank you, Mary. I am with a lot of different organization. I don't know what's really because there's so much I'm passionate about.
hmm
Children is one, right? I'm passionate. wholeheartedly passionate for kids, but they get so much assistance. But I want to do something with problem solving, period. People don't know how to do that. Kids don't, adults don't. And if we could teach people to problem solve, the crime rate will go down
Yep.
immediately. But people don't know how to problem solve. They don't know how to communicate, right? It's easy for me to pop you, right, Floyd, than to
Yep.
sit there and talk to you, have a decent conversation. And I think there needs to be space for that. So if I did anything in charity, it would be for that. And
Okay.
I see Terry's question. No, I think they're great. Do I think they're productive and conducive to growth? No, only because I know how education looks, and being in corporate and on the community side, they're
Mhm.
not the same. And until you can say, I think it's a great move for them to enter, but until the city can do stuff with until the city can say, hey, we're going to let y'all have your graduation free at the Civic Center. There's no communication, right? Until that happens, that's not conducive. And they can say we can't do that. You can do anything. There are towns that actually do it.
Hold
They
on.
can do it until this
You say until they let them have graduation for free, so it's a
at
charge.
the Civic Center. Yeah, that's a true partnership. That's showing that you care, right? That's showing that you care. If you want to be perfectly honest, if I know the district is hurting for money and I really want teachers to get a raise, well, we could hold graduation, but nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. And I know that every rules are meant to be broken, right?
Hmm.
That's why I don't give rules. I always say norms. Norms are things you should do no matter where you are. But somebody created a rule for that. It can happen. And those behind the door conversations or behind the scene conversations, and you come out and act like everything's hanky dory. No, until the city invites people to their meetings, any and everybody, and let them speak and
Hmm.
be able to have a two-way conversation and not just speak and nod your head and say, we can't answer, nothing's going to come of that. That's why I don't go up there and complain. For what? To say I
Yeah.
have a mouth and I can talk and I'm alive?
I mean, to be honest with you, when I see that, when those people go up there and they have 2 minutes or something like that to talk, it seemed like, all right, just get your little 2 minutes out the way so we can get on to the next person and continue on with this meeting, because that's what I be seeing when I see them go up there and they complain about it, and I see them looking back at them. They be like, they be looking like, okay, next person. All right, meeting
Yep.
over. Let's go. And
Yep.
so, I mean, to be honest with you, Terry, he always gives updates about what's going on at these city council meetings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He's very informed, and I appreciate Mr. T for
I love him.
the acknowledgement that he be giving and stuff. So, what Miss Mary say? It costs 15K just to turn on the electricity at the Civic Center.
But if you look, Mary, the lights stay on at the Civic Center. It's never pitch black. There are lights in the front. The lights to make the building look lit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's where there's a will, there's a way. And it costs $15,000 to turn on electricity at the Civic Center.
Hmm.
Show me the paperwork. Show me the data. For me to believe it, I got to see some data.
Terry say you gotta make them, but are they gonna respect you though? That's the thing. Like after you go up there and you complain, are they really gonna respect you, or are they just gonna move on to the next issue?
You
So
teach people how to treat you.
I know he got some things done as far as that's the Amelia
Mhm.
area and things and stuff, but I mean, some people don't have the initiative like Terry got. They go up there one time and that's it. They're not finna keep going up there and talk to them people.
And I'll say it again, for you teach people how to treat you.
Hmm.
You do. If you tolerate stuff, you teach people, you tell people, don't get mad 3 days later after they done told you what they had to tell you the 2 days before. You teach people how to treat you. So right then, if they don't answer you, you go up there and you don't feel like anything is done, email. And if you don't email, then that's fine. But put it on the news. He said all they got to do is call me. And Terry's right. All they got to do is call, but you have to be persistent. You have to be persistent.
Yeah, because if you don't, they just kind of just waiting for you to just float away.
Yep.
And a lot of people they go up there one time, that's it. Okay, I did my part. They don't care. They and then that's that's how they're gonna take it and stuff. But I mean, it
No,
is what it is. Um, Me personally, before we end the show, and I said it at the beginning, um, it's just so much information that you have. Um, and sometimes people don't want to reach out. And so I just want to know that I just want people to know that if you want to know anything, and if they inbox you, that you will reach out and you will help them. You're not
yeah.
the snobby person be like, oh, who is
Mm.
you? Or just look at the comment and leave it on red and stuff like that. And I
No,
just
I'm actually going to reach out. I'm going to respond. If you ask me something in my inbox, I'm going to respond.
yeah. Also, Mary Williams, she also said that she wanted you to write a book about the military also.
Yes, Mary. My military. There is so much about my military career that, and I'm going to say this, and this is a whole nother show. But remember, I talked about in the beginning about cognitive processing therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I told you that's where I learned
Mm-hmm.
how to process things. It was for being sexually assaulted in the military. And I'm just at a place now where I can actually talk about it, right? Because it was
Mm-hmm.
embarrassing. I thought it was my fault. But that writing that, I'm working with people now, Mary, to make that story come to life. So that is happening.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, Terry's on it. Terry come on every show. To be honest with you, thank you, Terry, for being consistent uh, with showing up for the show. I had Terry on the show one time. I was trying something new years back. I was trying something new, and it didn't. It wasn't Terry. It wasn't his fault or whatever. But I had a guy, and he was trying to show me how to do something. And it didn't work out. The audio was all messed up and stuff. So I still need to get Terry on the show to redeem myself from that show because that's probably one of the worst shows I had. Not because of Terry, it was because of he the stream he was trying the guy he was trying to use some stream and it was just horrible. It didn't work out right and stuff.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. It wasn't me. And I remember after that show, I told the guy, look, hey, I appreciate all what you did, but I'm just gonna go back to how I do things. And he was cool with it and stuff. But yeah, ever since that day, I wanted to get Terry back and redeem myself from that show that we had and stuff. So I see you put in the link for Tucked In Tuesdays if anybody, and also on Facebook if you can hit like the reminder button and it will remind you because it reminded me Tuesday when you did your show and stuff like that. So, but hey, I just want to thank you for coming on the show on a Friday because you are a busy person. And I appreciate you for coming on. And it's a lot we can talk about, but I don't want to go 2-3 hours and stuff like that. But I do thank you for coming on the show and spending your time and giving out this quality information, and people can learn who you are if they don't know who you are already. So I just want to thank you for being on the kickback.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Truly an honor.
And you got to get me back on Tucked In Tuesdays and stuff. Like I don't want that to be like a one time thing, to be honest, because you gave me a nice little onesie and stuff.
Yeah, Oscar. You got Oscar.
Yeah, I got Oscar the
They
Grouch and
they
stuff.
came straight from Sesame Street. They sent that. That came straight from Sesame Street. So what I'll do is I invite you back over during the Christmas because I do have my Grinch and you have your Grinch.
I do have
And
a
I
Grinch.
think that
Yes.
yeah, we need to come on and read a story, a Christmas story.
Okay, I'm with that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to. The Grinches will have to read a story.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with that. That'll be dope.
All right,
Um,
I'll reach out.
okay. Well, thank you for coming on, and you have
Thank you.
a great Friday and a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
All
So look out, man. That was episode 169. We getting close to 200. I might have to do something special when I do episode 200, which that might be like early 2025. But we getting close to episode 200. But episode 169 with Miss Belinda George was special to me because, man, y'all don't know how much I really respect this lady. This lady has a lot of information, and she is teaching me a lot about what's going on as far as the things that I want to do, as far as like charities and helping out the community and the stats with like Alice that we seen and stuff. And if you don't know who this lady is, man, I think y'all need to get in tune with her because, like I said, she has Tucked In Tuesdays where she reads children books to the kids out there. So if your kid, I mean, on Tuesdays, if your kid don't want to read or whatever, then just hit the link and she'll read to you or whatever. And like you said, like she said, I'll be on there again, hopefully, wear my little Grinch outfit, and then we can read books to your kids and stuff. I'm wearing this little Grinch outfit, so hey, if y'all got some bad kids, hey, let me know. I'm gonna pull up, I'm gonna hop out, I'm gonna scare the heck out of them, I'm gonna do whatever it is, so for them kids. But we gonna have a good time. Yeah, Terry, she is the real deal. And I'm happy to have her on the show. To be honest with you, I'm honored to have her on the show. I like having people like that on the show where, what I'm saying, that's making a difference in the community. Like yourself, Terry. Like I had Terrence on the show, like I had Nikki Relford on the show. A lot of people that I'm getting on the show. I had King Creole, which he has made it to, I think, the finals. I think he made it to the final four. King Creole. I did the show with him last week. Y'all need to check that out. Creole soul singer, very dope, very talented. He's in a contest in Houston where the first place winner gets like a record deal or something like that. Very, very dope dude. I played his music also the week before last, and he sung actually last week. So if y'all really want to check him out, he sung last week, was very dope. And I posted a clip on the Facebook page. So you might have to go to my videos and see the clip that I posted and stuff. Next week, to be honest with you, I actually got an opener for next week on a show. So I might be reaching out to a few people because I got Jacoby Gold. He's coming on the 13th. He got his movie coming out, I-10. They go come on the show. They go talk about, the music, the movies. They go talk about a lot of stuff. They're doing a lot of dope things. They're doing like the after hours barbershop where they just play art. They have artists in the area singing, rapping, all kind of stuff. It's a pretty dope thing that he's doing in the community. Jacoby Rose Gold. So he's gonna be on the show on the 13th. The big homie Eric T. I'm supposed to get him on the show real soon. Magic 102.5 will be in the building. So we doing that. So man, we just rocking out, man. And like I said, man, I appreciate everybody that's been sharing, that's been commenting on the show and stuff. And we gonna try to make it bigger and better. And that's the goal, to make it bigger, better, and to reach out to more people. And look, before I get out of here, man, I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it. So as far as the show goes, son, I've been having a lot of people on. And I don't like to be racial on the show, but white people, man, y'all could come on the show. Y'all could come on the show, man. Y'all could be guest on the show. Y'all really want to be guest on the show when it's election time, man. Don't be coming. I know how the game go. I understand how the game go. You want to come on when it's election time. You want to tell people what you want to do for this and that, the community, for the school board and all that. That's cool too. But hey, if you want to make a real commitment, if you want to show that you actually do care, hey man, I'm here other than election time. You feel me? Other than election time, I'm here. Like I said, reach out to me before, but hey, we cater to all, man, because I think I remember one person say, man, hey man, what's up? You don't have any white people? Nah, I be reaching out. They just don't, they only reach out when, the time is important, which is like election time. So I mean, it is what it is, but regardless, man, if you want to reach the people, if you want people to hear you, if you want people to know who you are, this might be a pretty good platform for you, to be honest with you. Because a lot of people, we don't really know who you is when we go out there to vote and put you in certain positions. Either you don't care, or you're just not that smart enough to really to put yourself out there in front of people who don't know who you are. Because yeah, we might pass down the street and we might see your sign to vote for this person, vote for that person, but we don't know you. And to be honest with you, I did it in 2021. I had a lot of people come on the show that was running for a lot of different positions, and that actually helped them out because a lot of people had a different perspective until they came on the show. So, like I said, man, the kickback we cater to all people, and if you want to come on, just hit me up, and we'll rock out every Friday, 7:30 p.m., and we'll have a good time. So, like I said, man, I'm finna get out of here. Y'all have a great weekend. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all be blessed. Always stay positive, and we go make it through. All right, I'ma holler at y'all. 100. This the kickback EP 169. We'll see y'all next week.